In Ayurveda, routine is the foundation for a well-lived life. Routine is a bedrock for health, wealth, and happiness. Hi, my name is John Immel, and I'm the director of Joyful Belly. Today, we're going to talk about your eating routine. Good planning, prudence, doing things the right way, that's true freedom. So Ayurveda says make a routine and a plan each week of what you're going to eat. Do your grocery shopping on the same day each week. Cook and eat at the same time each day, if that's possible. In other words, get organized. Here's a potential schedule for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here we see breakfast at 7 a.m., lunch at 12:30 p.m., and dinner at 6 p.m. That's a fine schedule. Some people eat their dinner a little earlier. Some people may have their lunch at 1 o'clock, even their breakfast at 8 a.m. But those are good general standby times. And Ayurveda says to minimize snacking between meals. Habit Theory 101 is that habits allow you to do things with little to no effort. Once something's a habit, it just happens without you having to think about it. Without, it becomes like clockwork, a well-running machine. So healthy habits mean that you can be happy with less effort. And of course, unhealthy habits ultimately increase the amount of effort everything takes in your life. So plan your meals for the week in advance, but recognize that you may need to adjust those foods as your gunas change. If you feel hot or cold or the weather changes, you might need to make some modifications. But make a shopping list. I love putting my shopping list on Google Drive because then I can access it at any time, no matter where I am. And then I can make sure I'm getting all the things I need. And also make sure I'm restocking my pantry, by the way. That I have specific foods I eat, for the particular season. But there's also just generally I have my pantry stocked with certain things. And I have a nice list of those so that anytime I'm at the grocery store, I can do a quick check, make sure I have all my staples. At a minimum, plan meals for the day in the morning when you wake up. When I was, not doing well and I had lots of health issues before, I used Ayurveda to heal myself, my Ayurveda practitioner told me that before you get out of bed, plan your meals for the day. And I did that, and it was extraordinarily helpful. What about, how we should eat at each meal? Well, I'm going to put this forward. We say this a lot at Joyful Belly, that breakfast is the spiritual meal, lunch is the joyful meal, and dinner is the gentle meal. Why? Well, at breakfast time, your system is still waking up. And also your focus is on the intentions you have for the day. You want to be organized. You want to make sure you're effective. And the morning is the best time to plan. And how can you make good plans without getting in touch with the foundation of all reality itself? Your spiritual life brings you in touch with reality as it is. And so you got to start there in your morning, and then that leads into your intentions, and then you can have your spiritual breakfast. Around lunchtime, your metabolism, your Agni is strong. It's a roaring fire. So go have fun. Eat a heartier meal. And I put a picture here of some party foods, as you can see, and in the bottom photo here. By dinner, your body's tired again. So your Agni's tired. Remember that your digestion is as tired as you are. So your dinner should be lighter. We recommend experimenting with a new recipe every week and pick a day so it's routine. You could say to your honey, every Friday, let's make a new recipe. And then every Friday, do it. Have some fun. Or every Saturday or every Sunday, make yourself, pick a day where you're going to make a new recipe every week, and then have fun. uh, you know, eventually, as you experiment with new recipes, you're going to find some that make you feel great. And then you can add that to your repertoire. The first time you make a recipe, it's a little extra time and effort. But if after you make a recipe 3 times, you kind of you save a lot of time at that point. You know how to make the recipe quickly, and you don't have to think so hard, and it's pretty easy. So just takes 3 times. So to experiment with something new, whatever you love, make it again, just 3 times. All right, cooking fresh at each meal is encouraged, but it's often not possible. So you might need to cook in batches. Sometimes in the beginning of the week, I will bake a few sweet potatoes so that I can grab them in a pinch. I'm not looking for a lot of my micronutrients from my sweet potato. I'm just looking for macronutrients from it, so I can have my fresh salads and things each day. But that cooked sweet potato will serve me. Sometimes I'll even get that rotisserie chicken from Whole Foods, and that can help in a pinch. Hard boiling a few eggs. In general, proteins store well. They're better. Protein leftovers are better than carb leftovers because carb leftovers form resistant starches that are hard to digest. But proteins actually become easier to digest the longer they sit. So just a little side note there on macronutrients. Anyway, you can, another thing that I like to do, and this is something I recommend to many of my clients, is I'll get up early and cook all my meals for the day right in the beginning of the day. I start my lunch and dinner, and I eat the same thing for lunch and dinner on days that I'm busy. And I'll make lunch, dinner first thing, and then as soon as that's cooking, I start making my breakfast. Store your food in glass containers so that it doesn't get plastics in it when you put the hot food in. All right. You can batch cook larger quantities. Leftovers are problematic, but they're better than fast food. And so just remember, everything's on a spectrum, okay? Instead of getting too perfectionist about it. Another thing you can do is trade off cooking nights with a neighbor or friend. Maybe you'll set up something where every Monday you have a meal with a friend, and one week you cook, and the next week your friend cooks. That can be fun. Meals should be shared, it's a great thing. You can buy certain items in bulk too, your pantry items, things that are going to have a longer shelf life. Great. Yeah, those are some simple tips for being organized with your cooking.